What is going on, Dolphins fans? It is free agent wish list time today on the Fins Up Network. Free agency officially kicks off on March 15th. However, legal tampering, we get that 2 days before on March 13th. So we are real close to actual Dolphins news, actual players being either re-signed by the Dolphins or being signed to the Dolphins after playing with another team happening next week already. So today, going to talk about my top 5 free agents that I would like to see the Miami Dolphins pursue. A quick note before I start. I am going to admit any what I would consider our in-house free agents, the guys that played for the Dolphins last year. Guys like Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and Nick Needham, Trent Sherfield, Melvin Ingram, Andrew Van Ginkel. I'd honestly be pretty cool with having those guys back at the right price. So today I'm going to veer away from those guys. I'm going to talk solely about guys that did not play for the Dolphins last year. And one other quick note, I'm a firm believer that you fill your team needs in free agency and then you try to go as close to best player available when it comes to the NFL draft. So you're going to notice all the players on my wish list play positions that I consider to be the Miami Dolphins' top needs. So I'm going to get started. Drop your free agent wish list in the comments as well. If you like my guys, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. But let's kick things off with Jordan Poyer, who most recently obviously played with the Buffalo Bills, and he is looking to cash in one final time. He's going to be 32 when this NFL season starts. But man, he has been good. He has been consistent with his time with the Bills after starting his NFL career with the Cleveland Browns. Now, some fans, analysts out there believe that, you know what, we're good at safety. We got Javon Holland. We got Brandon Jones. However, I love Brandon Jones, but I truly believe that he has different strengths than what a defensive coordinator like Vic Fangio is seeking. Because I really think that Fangio is going to be seeking that guy that provides a little bit more from someone in coverage compared to what Brandon Jones provides. And obviously, from what we've seen from previous history in a Fangio defense, they don't blitz as often as our previous defensive coordinator. That's what Josh Boyer did, and Brandon Jones was a perfect fit for that. Fangio is not going to blitz as much. So while that's a great strength for Brandon Jones to have, likely not quite as coveted in a Vic Fangio scheme. And honestly, Dolphins fans, here's the kicker. And this is why I really like this one. This is why I really like Jordan Poyer. Poyer is really interested in playing for the Dolphins. And honestly, it goes beyond him just saying, hey, I want to play somewhere warm, or I want to play in a state that's not going to take, or a state that's going to take half my money. I'm gonna leave it at that so I don't end up indicting the Miami Dolphins on any more tampering charges. But let's just say it runs a little bit deeper than that. There's some mutual interest there. Let's go on to the next guy. We're going to target an offensive lineman here. And there's a few things to note here. So the 49ers general manager, John Lynch, he's already publicly said that, you know what? He doesn't expect McGlinchey back with the 49ers. He doesn't think they're going to be able to re-sign him. He thinks he's going to test free agency, and it looks like he's all but gone from San Francisco. And additionally, despite what our front office says publicly about their level of commitment to guys like Austin Jackson at right tackle and Liam Eichenberg at left guard, if they can get an upgrade at right tackle, damn it, they have got to do it. They have got to protect the merchandise, and the merchandise in this situation being quarterback one, Tua Tagovailoa. And honestly, there are some additional free agent offensive linemen that I wouldn't mind and that are clear and obvious upgrades to Austin Jackson at right tackle. But I also have it on good account that Mike McDaniel really likes Mike McGlinchey for this job, if they can make it work financially. That's always the kicker when it comes to free agency. And that also goes beyond just their previous time working in San Francisco. So Mike McDaniel likes him. He's got his eye on him. If they can make the numbers work, this is a really damn good fit at a position need for the Miami Dolphins. You look at McGlinchey, he's already a really good run blocker. Since he's entered the league, he's been a really good run blocker, and his pass protection has improved pretty much every single year that he's been in the league. But guess what time it is? It's time to cash in. So we're going to have to see now, are the Dolphins ready to financially commit back-to-back years at those bookend tackles, protecting the merchandise, protecting Tua? I hope they do. Now we got to see if they're ready to pay top dollar back-to-back years. Let's go on to number 3. Yes, the second Buffalo Bills player on the list. However, I'm kind of cool with that since, the Bills have had a pretty damn good defense the last couple of years. And Jordan Poyer, Tremaine Edmunds have been kind of a big reason as to why they are because Edmonds, he's been solid his first 5 years in the league. He had arguably his best season last year with the Bills, kind of convenient in a contract season. So you always got to be a little bit leery of that. But he led the Bills with 102 tackles. He added a sack, 7 passes defended, and an interception. And he led the team in tackles in 13 games. He did miss 4 games, so you want to check out on some durability there. But still, playing in 13 games and leading the team in tackles, that is pretty damn impressive. And hey, what does he excel at? Well, it's that new age linebacker. He can fly sideline to sideline. He's got the speed. He's a good tackler. Oh, and he can drop back into zone coverage and man up against those tight ends and against those running backs as well. In the wild card game against us, he had 4 passes defended alone in that game. And then talk about playing in big games. Yeah, they lost the next round to the Bengals. He led the team with 12 tackles in that game as well. So he performed when it counted. But end of the day, he's another guy that knows, hey, it's my time. It's free agency. I'm about to get paid. And it really looks like kind of things are changing in Buffalo. It looks like Poyer's going to be gone. It looks like Edmonds is going to be gone. Players are leaving. And now you're adding on top of that, losing their defensive coordinator as well with Leslie Frazier earlier this offseason. Things are kind of changing on the defensive side in Buffalo. But if you look at the Dolphins, they only have 2 linebackers under a contract. That's Jerome Baker, Channing Tindall. And honestly, who knows what's going to end up happening with Jerome Baker? Does he end up hanging around? Is he a fit in this scheme? Is he a cap casualty? We'll have to wait and see on that. But honestly, especially if he's gone, I expect this linebacker unit to look quite different in 2023, potentially via free agency and the draft. But honestly, Tremaine Edmonds, of all the free agent linebackers, that's who I have my eye on. We got 2 left. And this is where the video takes a pause on being sexy, because this is where it definitely stops being sexy when we're talking about Taylor Heinecke. Because we need a backup quarterback. And I want to continue to invest in Skylar Thompson, but I do not feel comfortable with going into 2023 saying he's our quarterback too. He is our backup. And honestly, I don't think the Dolphins are comfortable with that. And I don't think they're comfortable with just slotting in some rookie from the 2023 draft class as well at quarterback too. So what does that leave us with? Well, that leaves us with addressing the quarterback position in free agency, just like we did with Teddy Bridgewater. So what are we looking for at that position in case Tua goes down again? And honestly, we want someone that's going to be consistent. We want someone that's going to be a bit more reliable than what we saw from Bridgewater in 2022. So I do have my eye on Taylor Heinecke. The guy threw for nearly 3,500 years and 20 years. I got my next word mixed up there. 3,500 yards in the year of 2021 with 20 touchdowns that year. Also, before that, started in a playoff game with Washington. That was the game against Tom Brady and the Bucs. The Buccaneers were like double-digit favorites in that game. Taylor Heinecke kept them damn close in that game, closer than anyone imagined. And then if you look at what he did last year, Washington was struggling. Carson Wentz gets hurt. He goes to the sideline. Taylor Heinecke steps in and they go 5-3-1 and they make a playoff push. He never ended up giving that job back to Carson Wentz. Now, they did turn things back over to Sam Howell in week 18, but Heinecke's an impeding free agent. You got to see what you have in the rookie. You got to see what you have there. You got to kick the tires a little bit. So there are definitely some free agent quarterbacks that are available that I wouldn't mind better options, better fits, in my opinion, than Teddy Bridgewater. But if I had my pick at this point in time, I'm taking Taylor Heinecke. All right, one last one. And this one I'm probably going to consider my biggest dream scenario out of the top 5 players that I mentioned. Because if you missed the news yesterday, Byron Jones is officially out of the picture. He's going to be cut when the new league year ends. He's going to be given the post-June 1st designation, so it helps out this year's salary cap as well. So he's gone. And then you look at what do we got? You got Xavier Howard. He's going to be 30 years old this year. Not terrible, but cornerbacks, as they age, don't always age the most gracefully. Now, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with Nick Needham. He's a free agent as well. Obviously, Cater Cole, who was a very, very welcomed surprise for us as an undrafted free agent last year. Ability to play outside on the boundary, ability to play inside in the slot. But outside of those guys, we don't have a ton of actual cornerbacks that have a lot of NFL experience at this point in time. So there's definitely some NFL draft cornerbacks that I like. There's actually a lot in this year's class that I really like. But you got to ask yourself, do you want to, or does the front office want to rely on a rookie cornerback when this team is kind of ready to compete now? Do you want to put a rookie in that situation, or would you rather go the free agent wise? Because if you're looking at Dean here, arguably probably a top 5 free agent cornerback that's available this offseason. So kind of the trend of free agency, he's not going to come cheap. And that's probably my biggest reason for saying, you know what, this is probably my biggest dream scenario. But if you can get him, if you can re-sign Nick Needham, if you can continue to invest and grow and develop Kader Kohu, and you still got Xavier Howard as he continues to age here, well, you're looking at a competent cornerback unit, and you're looking at that unit in a Vic Fangio-led defense with a team that's ready to compete now. So I love the idea trying to add Jamel Dean or one of these other cornerbacks that are got a little bit more NFL experience, obviously, than one of these impeding rookies. Not saying I wouldn't draft one of these rookies yet, because I definitely like a lot of them. However, I think the safest route for a guy that you're going to get meaningful snaps from is going to come in free agency. But those are my 5. Like I said, if you like mine, go ahead, give this a thumbs up. If you've got any other free agents in mind that you'd like to see the Dolphins pursue, drop them in the comments. Want to see who you've got as well. That's what I've got for today, though, Miami Dolphins fans. And until next time, fins up.